Good morning, everyone. This is Ricardo Wilkins, Customer Success Manager, Microsoft, and this is another weekly office hours for Microsoft Teams. So, as always, this 30-minute session is about being able to come and primarily ask any questions you may have. Um, Feel free to put them in the Q&A chat on the side of your viewing screen. So ask questions at any time, but also it's just a chance for me to, talk about topics, especially these days related to remote work and of course related to Teams and how to use Teams. So glad to have you with us this week. And again, put questions at any time. While I wait for questions, I always try to have a little topic to talk about. And today I thought I'd talk about something that one of my customers asked just this week related to Teams and SharePoint. So let me come here into my demo environment here, and that's not the one I was looking for. But the question was related to having a team that has files that may need permissions different than what Teams would give by default. And what does it do by default? Everybody in your team is able to see all the files in the team, by default, which is usually a good thing because it takes away the pain we would have in the past of, I've got a file, I want to share it with someone that I clearly work with, but I got to click all these buttons to give the right permissions, send them the link. If I mess it up, hey, I clicked it, I couldn't get to it, and you got to go back and change it. So it's nice to have that confidence or comfort of knowing any documents I put in my Teams area, in the files area, I know that everybody can see it. I can share it easily, a link in a chat or anything like that, and I don't have to worry about setting permissions. So usually that's the value add. Usually this Teams is about not having to set permissions, but as my customer was asking, and as I've had many people ask, what if I do want to do something special? Let's say I have some files that these particular files or maybe this particular folder, I don't want everybody in the team to see. And outside of using private channels, but, I just want to put some files in there, but I only want some of the team to see it. Or what if I have files that I want more than the team to see? How do I do that? And then also, what if I have files that I want to put in the team? I want everybody to see them, but I don't want them to be able to edit them. I want them to be read-only. Maybe they are documents that, are, third-party documents with copyright or something. I don't want people to change them. So 3 scenarios. Can I basically hide? Can I share outside the team? And can I change the editing capability? And the answer is yes to all of those with good old-fashioned SharePoint. So I usually like to point that out, that while Teams is using SharePoint, and because Teams is using SharePoint behind the scenes, all the things about SharePoint, like permissions and ability to modify permissions even at the item level, that still applies. Usually it's a nice world when you let Teams handle all that for you, kind of treat SharePoint as a black box and just use the good old-fashioned files tab. But you do have the ability to make those changes. So the disclaimer is, of course, if you are to make a lot of granular changes to or permission changes to a lot of areas, that's kind of on you to kind of remember or manage what you've done. So then, you can't always go in here and just assume everybody can see everything if you've been, modifying changes a lot. So best practice, I think, is to let Teams, do its thing. But let's talk about or show how we can make some changes to those if we need to. So I think I'll do it here in this. I got this little Teams adoption team here. So again, at any time, throw Q&A questions in the chat while I'm talking. But I'm just going to kind of go through this, just like the cooking show, just like right in front of you. And let's see how this gets done. So first, let's make a few folders that'll help us. And so we're here in Teams. We can make folders right in Teams. I'll make one called cannot edit. Okay. I'll make another one called let's call it can share with everyone, let's say. And then I'll make one called, let's call this only for Ricardo. So as these names imply, we're going to have a folder in this team, one that only Ricardo can see, the rest of the team members can't. One that people outside of the team, people who aren't even using Teams but have access to the SharePoint sites could see. And then one that no one can edit. So we'll basically make that a read-only folder. And let me make sure the members in this team are the way I want them. So let's go here. So we got some, so I do want to add Deborah since I've got her already up. So I'm going to add my friend Deborah to this team. Okay, close that out. All right. So let's go back here to our Files tab. Now we can't do any of these modifications in Teams, at least today. More of SharePoint's functionality will be coming to GCC Teams. And let me qualify that, because you may be watching this and you may be in a commercial version of Teams or a GCC version. So I'll say, if you're in commercial version, you probably are used to seeing, or probably see today, a few more things here on the ribbon. I'm using a GCC tenant here, so not as much SharePoint functionality as currently in the GCC tenant. But again, if you're a commercial, you'll have a little more. We're going to do this from a GCC perspective today. That being said, I don't make my edits here in Teams, so I'm going to open this files area in SharePoint. Okay, and we'll go back here to the general folder. So we got our three folders there. So let's start with this cannot edit, right? So I'm going to click here, and there's probably at least 2 or 3 ways to get to the permissions area for a SharePoint library. So I'm going to do one of probably 2 or 3. I mean, we choose whatever your favorite is, but I tend to use the I button here and manage access. And that really keeps me here, especially for something as simple as this one, where I just want to make sure that people can't edit this folder. What we see here is that the current permissions are, the owners, and I think I'll leave them alone, let them do whatever they want to do, but the visitors are already read-only, and the team members have edit capability. But like we said, we want only viewing. So now even members, all the members of the team, for this particular folder and any documents inside the folder, they will now be read-only just with that one click. So that's literally done. That's all I needed to do. And we'll prove that out. I'll go into cannot edit, and let's put a new file in here. And we will call it, you can't change me. Okay, and we'll put a lot of cool and interesting information in there. Okay, let that save automatically, and then we'll come back out, give a quick refresh. We'll see we have that file in there. So I didn't do anything permission-wise to the file, but I put it in a folder with changed permissions. Come back out here to only for Ricardo. Let's go here, manage the access. Now, in this particular one, I'm going to hit the advanced button and go to what I kind of call old school SharePoint permissions area to do this part. So I want this to only be for Ricardo. So first I want to stop inheriting permissions. giving me a warning. Yes, I want to create some unique permissions here. And essentially, I want to grant permissions to Ricardo. I always grant before I remove, just to be safe. Ricardo and my gov tenant. Leave that there. I don't need an email invitation. Okay, I think I had a headset issue because a call came in, so I think I fixed that. So yes, I did go mute for a while there, but I'm back. So let's see here. What were we saying? So I added Ricardo there. Let me hit a refresh here. Added Ricardo, and now, and in fact, I'll add myself as well. Again, I always like to grant all the permissions before I start ripping them away. So I'm the administrator here, and I'll grant that. I don't need an email about it, so I'll share that. And now that I've got myself and Ricardo in there, now I'm comfortable taking away everybody else. Okay. All right, so we did that, and now I will go back here and hit refresh. Now, obviously, it's only for Ricardo. I did add myself. That's why I can still see it. Otherwise, it would have disappeared for me. And we'll see that it's not there for our friend Deborah and so forth. And then the last one was can share with everyone. And so we will manage access there. And I think I can do it from here. So usually there is a everyone except, what this says is everyone except external users. That's everyone in my org. So in this case, that's what I want here. And in this case, I guess I could leave it as can edit. Everyone in the org can both see and edit it. Kind of feel like I'd be more comfortable with everyone just having view access. So I'll do that. And I do not want to notify everyone in my organization. So I always check that. And now I can grant access. Okay. So now we see we got the typical, in fact, I may have to go back out. We've got we still have everyone in the team, and all of that will continue to work as usual, but we also haven't now included everyone in the organization as well. Okay. And that one will be hard to show in this demo environment, finding someone in my environment that doesn't have, actually I may be able to pull that off. Okay, we'll go there. All right, so we did all those changes. We got our folders in here. Let's kind of prove out that they work. But first, let me add another document here just to help with the demo. So this one we'll call Ricardo document, Ricardo only. Put more useful and valuable information. So that's saved. And then in the can share with everyone, let's put a Word doc in there. Oops, call it something. Let's use everyone. And more compelling info. All right, so we got that in there. So we got, and that's saving. We're good to go. All right, so we got our folders in there, our permissions changed, and a document for each one. So now let's prove that the magic has truly happened. So first, let's talk about the only for Ricardo. I have my friend Deborahs Team's area here, and I believe I just added her to the Teams adoption team, so she'll come here. She'll go into the files area, and let me kind of put it side by side, but we can see here, she can share with everyone. She can see cannot edit. She has no idea about only for Ricardo. If I go to Ricardo, see what Ricardo sees. So he'll come into Teams, and he will go to the, did I add him to the team adoption? I think so. Of course, Ricardo uses the black theme, dark theme, and he comes in the files, only for Ricardo is there, okay? And the file that is only for Ricardo is there. So it kind of proved out that one. On the cannot edit, so the administrator made a cannot edit folder. Here is Deborah coming into the cannot edit folder. She can see the you can't change me doc. Opens up just fine. You know, you may think, up the demo's blown. Here's that edit button. Clearly he doesn't know what he's talking about, and that could be true. But in this case, what tends to happen is, let me make this a little bigger. When you do go into edit mode, you get that guy as I started to try to type into it. So it gives you the false hope you're about to be able to make an edit, but when you try, you get the read only. So that shows us that that one does work. I can see that document. I could obviously read it. I could even almost edit it, but in fact can't edit it because it's got the read only permissions. So that's Deborah attempting to see that. And then the last one was can share with everyone. So again, let me check and see who's not in this team. In fact, let me go to manage team. Who do we have in here? So Nestor's in here. Let's see. Well, let's take Deborah out, actually, just for the sake of this. Let's, oh, I'm not. I am Deborah, so I don't want to use that. Let's come over to back to the administrator. Let's go here to manage team. Come to the guests. We want to take Deborah out of the team. Okay. So I come back here to Deborah. Eventually that team's going to go away. Maybe I can hit refresh to make it faster. That should, I took her out. That should go away here eventually. This is what happens when you do the cooking show concept and it's not cooking fast enough. So she'll go away in a sec, but what we'll see here is that she should continue to have access to, where am I? Oh, I was in the wrong one. You got too many browsers open. Okay, so this is Deborah. She no longer has access to that team's area, but let's see if she has access to the document library. So we will go here and I can grab the URL to the document library, come here to her browser, pop that in, and we'll see, let's see here. So I'm in the right one, I'm in Deborah. And we may be also still seeing the fact that her permissions haven't gone away just yet, because she's certainly still able to see everything. So she may not be the best person to try this with. While that cooks, I did see a question come in. Is there a way to email within Teams, or do you still have to use Outlook? So no, there's no way within Outlook to send an email. There are, if you are in commercial, you have a way to send from Outlook, send an email to Teams through the email a channel feature, and then there are other features that I think we announced a couple months back about, buttons for add to, add to Teams, and that kind of thing. So, but no, there's no way to kind of use Teams to replace Outlook for the purpose of sending email messages. So thanks for that question. Let's see if Deborah's actually let's see, I need to close that because that's Ricardos and that's getting me confused. Let's do another refresh here. Let's see. Let me make sure she's actually out of the team. So this is the team adoption. Yep, I took her out. I think this is more a matter of, you know, the actual stripping of the membership still kind of baking. I think if we were to check this maybe in a few more minutes or so, I suspect that she would, you know, no longer be able to see anything except the one that I made available for everyone. So it's just not happening fast enough for live TV. But hopefully at least you saw the steps for going through that. Again, all of that happens through the power of Teams. For the most part, we're able to respect the changes that got made there. So you're seeing those three scenarios, limiting permissions or limiting the visibility to only a few people, expanding the visibility outside the team, and then also changing the ability to edit would be the three scenarios that we used. So hopefully that was helpful, and you just have to trust me that the that third scenario would work for Deborah once her change kind of kicks in. If I was more prepared, I would have had another persona that I could easily have pulled up to check that out. All right. So hopefully that was a helpful tip. If there are any other questions, please put them in. I don't see any. So I'll give it a couple more minutes, but if not, I will let you get back to your day. And again, this session happens every Friday, 10 a.m. for a half hour. And the URL that you use to get here today, a little bit after this session is done, will become a URL that takes you to a landing page that will show you where to see the past recordings and other helpful information. All right. So seeing no more questions, I think I will let you have your day back, and I will see you next week, Friday, 10 a.m. Thanks for joining.